UB40 featuring Ali Campbell returning to Honolulu one night only. Aloha Friday, February 14th, 2025 to the Blaisdell Arena. So many people are just beyond excited to see you live on stage. I am wondering how you are able to step on stage after so many decades. How do you keep it fresh with your bandmates and with for yourself, that the music continues to have that power and meaning?
Well, I love reggae music, you know, and I know that Indigenous Hawaiians love reggae too, you know, so it's always a joy to play in the Hawaiian Islands. And I've played the Blaisdell Arena many times than I can remember, you know. So I look forward to it, as I always do, you know, and can't wait to be there on my birthday, which is 14th is Valentine's Day, isn't it? It's my birthday the next day.
I was going to say happy early birthday. Will you be able to celebrate your birthday through the weekend, or are you immediately jetting off to the next destination with the Labor of Love tour?
Well, I'm in Maui on the 15th of February.
Oh. How do you celebrate special occasions?
Usually with my family back in England, but I'm going to leave them here because it's cold and dark and wet, you know. I'd rather be in Hawaii, trust me on that.
So with UB40 featuring Ali Campbell, there are definitely people, myself included, who have been so inspired by the lyrics and the music and the albums. Everybody has their favorites. And most times fans, they just, even fellow musicians, I'm sure, over the years have just wanted to express to you, thank you for inspiring them to be an engineer of music, maybe to start a band, those kind of endeavors. Have you had a chance to, or maybe you could share different moments where people who inspired you, that you had the good fortune of meeting and maybe even expressing the same?
I've worked a lot with Sly and Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie, who, of course, passed away quite recently. And I loved those guys, and it was a joy to work with them. I did quite a few albums with them, and what was special about that was when we were unemployed kids in Birmingham in England, mm-hmm. we learned how to play our instruments by playing a Sly and Robbie album. It was a Gregory Isaacs 12-inch, in fact, called Mr. Know-It-All, with Sly and Robbie doing the backing. And we sort of learned piece by piece how to put music together using that Sly and Robbie album. And then to end up working with them in my studios in Jamaica, you know, was like a dream come true. And the people that came through my studio, you know, people like Ken Booth and John Holtz were heroes of mine, you know, that I grew up listening to. And the Labour of Love collection that we did were songs that I grew up listening to, and they were the songs that made us, you know, love reggae in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so we've had such success with them. You know, we sold over 20 million of those, the three Labour of Love albums that we did originally. So, you know, that's one of the most special things for me, having worked with basically my heroes, you know.
No, I, as I'm listening to you, my heart is racing, and I'm getting chicken skin. It's the Hawaii version of goose pimples. You know, it's just like I'm hearing because these are like legendary reggae names, and because I remember I worked at a record store before working at a radio station, so I remember seeing across the parking lot, the bus stop, and kids coming off the bus after school, and you know, coming in and buying cassette tapes. Like you had to love music to leave your home, you know, to do that extra movement to just get what you wanted. And then the other option of seeing a band live, I mean, it's really not lost on so many people to be able to see UB40 featuring Ali Campbell return to Honolulu. You know, it's a new experience each and every time. When you were growing up, and I read an article like when kids are between 13 and 15 years old, the music that they hear then, there's something about when you get older, you listen to those songs and artists, and they they're formative years, maybe? I don't know. It means something so different. When you and your bandmates were getting together and, you were saying like listening to music and figuring out the chords and things, did you allow yourselves to dream like, this is what I'm going to do when I'm a grown-up? I'm going to be touring the world. People are going to be singing along to my music.
I could never have imagined being so lucky.
Yeah.
What I do remember is when I was 15 years old, I got to go and see Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago. The year before that, I'd been able to go and see the Jackson 5.
What?
So they were my two favourite bands in the world, and they're, if you like, the ones that meant the most to me in my formative years,
Yeah, yeah.
And I can honestly say that when I saw Bob Marley and the Wailers, it changed me forever, and that was really the point when I decided I wanted to be, become involved with making music,
Yeah.
And because we were the sort of disenfranchised youth of Margaret Thatcher's England, we were all unemployed, which obviously that's why we called ourselves UB40, because UB was unemployment benefit, and that was the card that you needed to get your money from the state. So, we got together in the cellar, and acquired instruments, if you like. And, we started off by playing, like I said, this Sly and Robbie stuff. And we couldn't have dreamt that, we were going to have a hit for a start, let alone end up making 35 albums, and still be travelling the world and playing to, packed houses 40-odd years later. It's a dream come true. And, of course, we sold 70 million CDs, in the CD era, which, of course, is a bit of a record, especially for a reggae band.
Mm-hmm. Ali Campbell, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk story with us here in the islands. It makes me think about other moments in music, but I can just see, or I can imagine you as a youth and having that wide-eyed wonder of hearing Bob Marley and the Wailers, the performance and the instrumentation. What drew you? Do you remember about following on stage? Of course, Bob Marley was very magnetic presence, but what about the guitar players and bass players? The I3s. That must have been wild.
Yeah, well, the Barrett brothers. Aston Family Man Barrett, who later played many tours with me. Him and Carlton, his brother. They were the drums and bass. They invented the one-drop rhythm as we know it. So again, they were absolute, total heroes of mine. Mm-hmm. They invented one-drop reggae, and to see those guys performing for the first time was as special as seeing Bob, really. And you had Chiller Smith and Tyrone Downey and Stick Scully and the I3s, as he said. All of whom, people that passed through my studio and over the years. And I just feel blessed, because who gets the chance to work with their heroes,
Mm-hmm. You don't need to know the history and the origin story about the musicians, the engineers, the songwriters, and who inspired them, but you do know, and it's amazing that you continue to educate people by covering different artists in the UB40 fashion. And if people take the time to check out the liner notes, pay attention to the interviews and really listen, that can just continue to, just seed and further educate people about reggae and dub music. I was listening to Signing Off, the debut album, UB40, and hearing Food for Thought, and I was just like, I just remember thinking, UB40 has been such an instrumental musical force for so many. And I can't thank you enough for just taking time to talk story with me in the islands. February 14th, that's Valentine's Day, Aloha Friday, the day before Ali Campbell's birthday, Blaisdell Arena, UB40 featuring Ali Campbell, special guest Anuhea. Tickets are on sale, Ticketmaster.com, Blaisdell box office. Ali Campbell, do you have any words you want to express to your Hawaii fans?
You know, I can't wait to play the Blaisdell yet again. Just big love to everybody out there. Aloha, big love, and see you there.